This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Debbie Cooper. Let's get right to our top story.
Well, last Sunday, a Newfoundland man and his girlfriend bolted outdoors in Toronto in the middle of that deadly shooting rampage to try to help people. Jerry Pinkson, an emergency room nurse, and his girlfriend, a nursing student, were enjoying dinner in a restaurant when the gunfire erupted. And one of the people the gunman shot was Danielle Kane. She's seriously injured, and now Jerry from the Northern Peninsula has just received an update on her condition, and he joins us via FaceTime from Toronto. So Jerry, what's the latest on Danielle's condition?
Well, we got some great news. The staff at St. Mike's called me this morning and told me that she just completed her final surgery. So now we're just looking at reducing her sedation and hopefully finally getting her off the ventilator and start this healing process.
Now, take me back to the moment that the gunfire started. What did you and Danielle hear and do?
So we were taking our friend Patty out for her birthday dinner. We heard like gunshots, or we thought it was fireworks, or we didn't know what the noise were. So, and the waiting staff told us to rush inside and get cover. So when we went inside the restaurant, we didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. We didn't hear any sirens or any police around as of yet. And a customer came up to me, rushed hysterically, saying that, like, I just witnessed someone get shot. I just witnessed someone get shot just to the east of the building, the restaurant they were at, right on the front patio. So I just got this overwhelming sense of like I needed to do something. Like I was like, I had the training, I have the knowledge, I can help this individual. So I just waited a few minutes. I didn't hear any other gunfire, so I decided to exit through the west exit, and then I just walked a few steps off onto the patio, walking towards the northeast side of the building. I noticed someone just calmly walking behind me on the other side of the street, 20 feet away. I didn't think anything of it. I just was too focused on the injured person that could be potentially at the front of the building. So I heard a click or a noise. I don't know what it was. And I just turned it back around, and I saw this gentleman just raise his hands quickly. And then I don't know if it was gunfire. I just heard a noise, and I just ducked down by this patio.
This was the gunman, right? Did you actually look into his face?
Yeah, I saw him directly. He was just like a cold, blank stare. Like he just had this like determination on his face. He just was so calm. Like I was just surprised. That's why I didn't think of anything of him when I first noticed saw him. Right. And like his face is like burnt into my consciousness. I can't even. I would never be able to forget that face.
And when did you realize that Danielle had been struck by one of his bullets?
So when I was bending down by the patio, I heard my friend Patty scream, and Danielle scream, and she was hurt. So I stood up immediately and rushed back into the emergency exit. I pushed her feet back in a little bit. I closed the exit door, and I started surveying her, and she was just saying she was in so much pain and she couldn't feel her legs. And then I looked for a wound, and I saw just the exit wound. And I got a material, and I started providing first aid to her.
Right. So how did you try to comfort her while you were waiting for the paramedics?
So she was talking to me the whole time. So I was just telling her to just keep breathing through this pain. Just keep breathing through pain. She was saying that so much pain. She couldn't feel her legs. And I was just like, you just keep breathing through it. Just got to keep breathing through it. We're gonna get through this. But for the brief moment, I felt so much guilt because I went out and then now my girlfriend's been just shot lying here. And then I thought to myself, I was like, I can't get too much over an emotion. I have to think about, I'm a nurse. I have to like help this. I have to help my loved one. I have to go ahead and do what I can. So you were torn because you're a boyfriend and a trauma nurse. Yeah, I'm an emergency nurse, so we don't see too much trauma at work, but we see minor gunshot wounds and stabbings. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm familiar with it. But it's still like when it comes to your loved one, it's just that first moment you're just like, you don't know what to think. And then you realize like, no, this person really needs me. She needs me to be the nurse now and not her partner. Right. I just kept telling her to breathe through this pain, and 2 minutes later the police were here.
What's your sense of what you know now about the extent of Danielle's injuries?
So the bullets create a lot of chest wall trauma. It went through her stomach. It shattered her T11 vertebrae, which created compression and a contusion. So that's where the most damage. That's going to be a lifelong injury. We don't know until 6 months into rehab if she's ever going to walk again.
Wow.
She's been doing excellent. She's been recovering every day from the chest wall injury and the stomach injury and the abdomen injury.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we don't know if she's ever going to walk, if she's going to have any sensation in her legs.
Well, let's hope for the best. I gather you've been getting a lot of support from your family here in Newfoundland?
Yeah, like people back in Newfoundland have been overwhelming. Like, without the support, I wouldn't be able to talk about my experiences and stuff like these individuals and support online. The community here from Danforth, the city of Toronto, my friends and family, Danielle's family, they've all been over the moon, helping us through this. And
right. Well, Jerry, I know it's a very difficult day, but I really appreciate you coming on here now tonight, and I'll explain some of the fundraising things you're trying to do.
And I want to thank everyone from Newfoundland. I feel their support. I know that they're with me. I know, like, I can feel them, and it's helped me get through this. It's really helped me get through this.
All the best, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Well, turning now to another difficult story. One person is dead after a collision between a transport truck and an SUV on the Bonavista North Highway earlier today. It happened around 8 o'clock this morning on Route 320 north of Centerville-Wareham. The road was closed for several hours. An investigation into the accident is underway. Well, the RCMP has released some staggering statistics about the number of people in this province who still don't buckle up. A warning, these images are graphic. According to police, 182 people were killed as a result of motor vehicle accidents in the last 5 years. A third of those people were not wearing seatbelts. RCMP Sergeant Oliver Whiffen says seatbelts ensure people stay inside the car where airbags can protect them. A person thrown from a vehicle traveling 100 kilometers an hour will hit the ground at the same speed.
A deepwater oil project could bring big cash to the province and tax benefits for Ottawa. It may also see some flow to the United Nations. The Bay du Nord project, announced yesterday, is 500 kilometers from St. John's, and it's poised to be the first oil field to fall under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Now, that law requires countries to make payments to the UN for oil production that is more than 200 miles offshore. Premier Dwight Ball says Ottawa signed the deal, so it would have to pay the royalties and taxes.
Step aside, Goulds. Mount Pearl's taking on Chase Ace now. I'm Kate McGilvery, and I'm live in Mount Pearl. Coming up.
I think she might have been excited because she may have had the winning ticket. In other stories, the North Head Trail at Signal Hill is about to unveil its new look. The bridges and the stairs on the edge of the cliff have been closed for construction, but as Here and Now's Megan McCabe reports, plenty of people have just kept on hiking.
Spend an hour on North Head Trail, you'll see how popular it is. Parks Canada says each year up to 40,000 come through this scenic route between the Lower Battery and the top of Signal Hill. These do not enter signs and even this barricade have been here for months, attempting to keep hikers away from construction crews working in precarious positions. But it hasn't really worked.
We're only here for a few days, so we're just like, the clock is ticking.
So much to
we got to fit it all in.
Well, I think neither of us are really rule followers, so when we see something barricaded, we're like, oh, well, let's just keep going.
They're not alone. But Parks Canada says the work is to make it safer, like replacing and upgrading stairs and this bridge where a few concrete steps used to be. It's been tough getting materials in with pulleys and helicopters, digging into the rock with shovels. Considered a critical asset, the trail was a top priority for improvements.
It gets all different types of users, and I think you've seen some of them come through today with different types of attire, different types of footwear. So not everybody who comes here is fully prepared for how rugged it is. So for us, it's about making the trail as accessible as possible. You can't make it for everybody.
The closure, staff turned all these people back during our media sneak peek this morning, has been difficult during this extra busy summer season. But Parks Canada says it couldn't complete all the work during winter, and it wasn't safe or affordable to put the project on pause. This do not enter sign should be gone by Regatta Day next week, as Parks Canada says their $750,000 project to upgrade the North Head Trail is almost done. Megan McCabe, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the East Coast Trail Association took a big step forward today. It signed a memorandum of understanding with the town of Paradise. That's in addition to recent agreements with the towns of CBS and Portugal Coast St. Phillips. Representatives from all three towns gathered to sign the agreement. It means those communities will help protect the trail system and will consider it in future planning. Work is now underway to enhance the historic path between Topsail Beach and Portugal Cove.
One of the things we're aiming at right now is seeking a sustainable foundation for the trail. And critical to that is the engagement and involvement of the communities along the trail. Because we know over the long term, we cannot do this on our own. We're delivering a large piece of infrastructure in terms of both tourism and recreation, and we need the partnerships of the towns to make that work for now and into the future, for future generations.
Well, when you think of Chase the Ace on the Avalon, it's pretty hard not to think of the Goulds. Tens of thousands poured into St. Kevin's Parish last year for a chance to win that whopping jackpot of $5.7 million. Well, now Mount Pearl Sport Alliance is saying, deal us in. Here and Now's Kate McGillivray is live in Mount Pearl tonight. So, Kate, did you manage to get your ticket?
I don't have my ticket yet, but a lot of people already do. As you can see, it's a bit quieter behind me now, but when I was here at 2, when tickets went on sale, the line was going out the door and around the building. Now, this game is now in its 41st week, so we are not close at all to that multi-million-dollar pot in the Goulds game. But if someone were to draw that ace tonight, they'd win upwards of $125,000.
$5 on the 50-50 and $5 on the Chase the Ace. If you can't win on one, you can't win on 100.
Is this your first week coming down?
No, I've been coming down for about 5 weeks, I guess.
And when did it start to get busy?
Today.
I feel lucky every day that I wake up. But I've never went to Chase the Ace or any of this before.
What do you think you'd do with the money if you won it?
Blow it. What a drunk. No, not really.
So anticipation is now building. There are just 12 cards left in the deck, and that draw is at 8:30, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Kate McGillivray in Mount Pearl.
All right, you gotta get them on fire. You gotta keep going, keep going, keep going.
Keeping Firefit. Will Colleen Connors be ditching her day job for a firefighter's uniform? Have to stay tuned in to find out.
Strike up the music. Time to meet our young athletes of the day. And this, first of all, is Landon Costello from St. John's. He's been playing hockey for 5 years as a right wing with the St. John's Caps.
Yeah, he's perfected the hockey smile there. Landon's 9 years old and was awarded Most Improved Player this season. Congratulations, moving from novice to Adam.
Congratulations, Landon. And here's another hockey player, Parker Legg.
Parker is from Holyrood. He's 6 years old and plays for the CBR Renegades.
Way to go, Parker.
Update is brought to you by Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 570 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Well, we just saw our young athletes of the day, talking about hockey and all of that that they love. Soccer is pretty popular too.
Soccer indeed.
Hello. Hi.
Some of the 800 soccer players taking part in Sunsplash this weekend. The annual tournament is in Paradise at the Diane Whalen Soccer Complex.
Yes, Debbie just said 800. We've got 68 under 10 and under 12 teams. They're competing. Then that is a 30% increase over last year.
Oh, and it looks like they'll have some pretty good soccer playing weather on the weekend. You can see how windy it is right there, and those winds should start to ease tomorrow. So that's a good thing. But temperatures, ooh,
that's the story, isn't it?
They're dropping, they are dropping quickly tonight.
Right. You don't want it to be too hot when you're playing soccer, so they'll be happy.
Yeah, and also when you're sleeping in bed at night, it's also nice for it to be a bit cooler. So last night overnight, it was 20 degrees in St. John's. Tonight, it's going to be much cooler than that. We're getting down to a low of 11. Let's have a look at the satellite and radar shot here. The Northern Peninsula, wow, they got a lot of rain over the past 24 hours. Just north of Port au Choix, over 80 millimeters of rain overnight last night and today. Now that system is moving off, but it's bringing with it this cold front that is just wiping away all of the warm temperatures. So if you are heading out tonight, this board is for you. Just see how this plays out. Here we are Friday at 5 o'clock, and this is the cold front that's pushing through the island, and these are the temperatures. You can see how quickly things are going to drop. 11 o'clock tonight, St. John's 19 degrees, but just a couple of hours later, boom, 13 degrees. So if you are going out tonight, make sure you bring a jacket, bring a sweater, because it may seem warm as you head out, but it is going to cool down overnight tonight. So yeah, we have an overnight low of 11 degrees, a chance of a shower or two right across the board over to the west coast. A little bit warmer there in Port aux Basques. 5 to 10 millimeters of rain for Lab City. Could be as much as 20 millimeters in the heaviest rains, and a chance of thunder showers overnight tonight. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, this is what you're going to see in St. John's. A very chilly start to the day, 12 degrees early tomorrow morning, but a mix of sun and cloud. Cool really for most of the island. The west looking at a bit warmer temperature, 17 degrees to start there, and Labrador as well, a bit of a cool start to your day. So tomorrow, lots of cloud cover over the island, showers pushing through the west and as well through Labrador. This is the kind of day that's shaping up for tomorrow, and it's going to stay fairly cool throughout the day, but you can see those winds are dying down. Southeasterly winds 20 to 40 in the east, so that's a bit of a break from those strong winds that we've had lately. 16 degrees as the high in St. John's. As we move in through Central, though, things warm up to these great temperatures. 26 degrees in Gander with a mix of sun and cloud, but some shower possibilities, some chances of showers along the coast, right up through the Northern Peninsula. Won't be as bad as what you've had over the past 24 hours, but there is a chance of showers there tomorrow. And as well for Churchill Falls and Labrador City, that chance for a thunder shower continues throughout the day tomorrow. So As we move into Sunday, more shower chances coming through. Pretty much everyone is going to get a taste of this system on Sunday. So cloudy with showers for the entire island and for all of Labrador. Warm temperatures in central, 27 degrees. And as we head into Sunday evening and Monday morning, things are going to start to warm up again for St. John's. 27 degrees for central and for the east, 24 on the west, and cloudy with showers for eastern Labrador. 22 degrees there. So once we get past Monday and the cloudy day there, we're getting into some nice weather. You see Regatta Day looking quite good right now as well for central, really the entire island, looking at some nice temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday into next week. For eastern Labrador, looking at some showers though as well for western Labrador, and temperatures a little bit on the cool side in the low 20s. That's your forecast. Anthony, back to you.
Thanks, Carolyn. Well, a national firefighting competition is lighting up Corner Brook this weekend. Firefit puts competitors' skills, endurance, and strength to the test. And hundreds are taking part, including 16 firefighters from Corner Brook who've been training for months. Here now's Colleen Connors stopped by to test her abilities.
So we're standing here at the site of the Corner Brook Civic Center, and Craig, you've got me all decked out in the gear. Tell me, what exactly is Firefit?
Well, Firefit is actually a combination of a sport and a job testing system. It was actually introduced 25 years ago as a job entry testing, and then we just turned it into a sport. And since then, the times have plummeted to where it's become a national competition.
And is it ever a competition? These guys can run this course incredibly quickly. So give us a quick run through of exactly what it is they have to do.
Well, they start off at the bottom, at the base of the tower, and they carry 42 pounds, and they're dressed in full gear like you're wearing. At the top of the tower, you bring up more hose, simulating that you're bringing equipment to the fire floor. Back down the stairs, touching every stair. Every stair you miss is a 2-second penalty. Grab that charge line, drag it 75 feet, push through a doorway, bang, knock down the target, the fire is extinguished, but hey, you just noticed that there's a person in the structure. So then you sprint another 30 feet, grab a 180-pound dummy, and you go backwards 100 feet. And at that point, you're done.
So all weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you're going to see competition here, and I am going to try a little bit of this course, just to really see how tough it is. You have to wish me some luck here.
Yeah, best of luck.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, let's give it a go.
Go, come on. You gotta get them on fire. You gotta keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on, you're almost there. You're almost there. Push, 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 push. And you're home.
Okay, Craig, that was really, really hard. That's so impressive. How do you guys do this all the time?
It's just what they do.
Man, oh man, that was tough. So you got all the events happening tonight. They start on Friday night here in Corner Brook, all weekend long. I want to thank you so much for showing me around today.
No problem. You did awesome.
Oh, thanks so much.
But you left out 5 tasks.
Oh, 5, right. Just the other 5, yeah. Great, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
That was tough, and that dummy, by the way, that Colleen was dragging weighed 200 pounds, so no wonder she had a little help there. Well, there's Firefit, and then there's trekking 1,700 kilometers through Labrador Wilderness. St. John's teacher Justin Barber and his dog are back at it. Last summer, they walked and paddled across Newfoundland. This year, they're more than doubling that distance, taking on the big land. Barber estimates the trip will take about 3 months, and that's if they cover 19.5 clicks a day. A pilot will drop supplies to them just twice. They plan to catch or kill most of their food.
Built instead of bought, some assembly required.
This Kip Car is up for sale. Meet the owner and get a peek inside. That's coming up.
And here's your view. Okay, another look here. It's gorgeous. It deserves another look. Beautiful sunset.
That's
One hint of where
gorgeous.
this was taken is a resettled community.
Oh, one of how many? Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Welcome back. Now, before we get to birthdays and anniversaries, we're going to take you for a spin in a bright red sports car.
Keith Whalen built his Kip Car from the bolts up a decade ago. It's up for sale now, and our Fred Hutton just had to take it for a test ride. Oh, well, a little bit of a problem there. Hopefully we'll get back to it.
Try to find the sound somewhere.
Yeah.
Let me get that for you.
But we are going to let you see who's celebrating some birthdays and anniversaries this week, and we'll regroup after that. Happy 90th birthday to Pearl Shepherd of Stag Harbor, Fogo Island. Happy 90th birthday as well to Mary Martin Button of St. Chad's, who will be celebrating on August 1st. Congratulations to Wilfred and Ruby Reese of Spaniards Bay on their 58th anniversary this Monday, the 23rd. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Joan and Calvin Williams of Lewisport. Their special day was also on the 23rd.
And best wishes to John and Nancy Walsh in St. John's, who will celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary coming up on August the 2nd. And by the way, John worked here at CBC TV for 26 years. A happy 53rd anniversary to Arch and Annie Drover in Hodges Cove. They were married on the 26th of July. And congratulations to Ruby and Nigel Smith in Bishop's Cove, who celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary on the 25th. And a happy birthday to Charlie Murphy in St. John's, who will celebrate his 92nd birthday on Sunday.
Congratulations to Floyd and Marjorie Day of Dildo, whose 58th anniversary is on Sunday, the 29th. Another couple celebrating this coming Sunday, happy 61st wedding anniversary to Shirley and Edgar Hindy. Happy 50th anniversary to Ed and Ann Oliver of St. John's. Happy 58th anniversary to Verna and Nelson White of Cox's Cove, and they're celebrating today.
And anniversary greetings to Bruce and Frances Pittman from Badger, who will celebrate 64 years tomorrow. And a happy 69th anniversary today to Andrew and Mildred Rousel in Leading Tickles. Best wishes to Tom and Edna Tulk on their 58th anniversary. And a happy 90th birthday to Agnes Hennessy from Harbor Grace. Happy birthday to Teresa Butt in Carbonear, who celebrates her 91st birthday tomorrow.
Happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Bill and Carolyn Abbott, who are also avid watchers of Here and Now. Thanks very much. Well, happy birthday to Ida Leonard of Mount Pearl, who turns 97 on the 31st. Congratulations to Graham and Mona Hayter, who celebrated 60 years of marriage July 17th. And happy 51st anniversary today to Bob and Doreen Nippard.
All right, Debbie, well, Carolyn managed to find the sound to go with that red sports car, so let's get that car in gear and take her for a spin.
A friend of mine brought it back from the States as a gift for me. It was a kit car, and you had to have a 69 Beetle or any year of a Beetle actually to build this car. And he brought it back to me as a surprise and showed up here 1 December with it on a skidoo trailer, and I had the bug to go to build the car, and that's how we ended up with it. It's all fiberglass, and the chassis of it's all steel, but the company called Bradley made all kinds of kits back in the early 70s and this was probably one of the nicest kits they made, and it was the last kit they made.
You mixed emotions about having to give it up?
Yeah, but you know, I said it and I did it, and you know, I always wanted to do it, so it's done, and now it's time to let someone else enjoy it. This car comes as a complete kit. All the interior, dash, everything you see, gauges, everything, but the steering column and the shifter and stuff like that. Like I say, you do have to have a complete bug to build this car.
It kind of looks like the Ferrari that Magnum had.
Yeah, well, that's what it's a knockoff of, 308. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go.
When you drove a Volkswagen Beetle in the wind, you're just blown all over the road. Like it was crazy how to control the car.
And this one has a radio though.
Yes, and it still has the original radio that came out of the Beetle that I scrapped for this car. And it still works as a cassette deck.
But no heater.
No, just a fresh air heater. That's just fresh air only, no heat whatsoever. You know the history of the bug. They never had heat. For the money that actually cost to build it, because like I say, you got a look of a Ferrari, and it costs nowhere near what a Ferrari costs. And this was the thing that Bradley was aiming back in the 70s for. Was, you got a car that looked like a Ferrari and cost you hardly nothing.
You like driving this car. You like talking about it too, though.
Yeah. It's all a bit of fun. That's the way I look at it. I've been a Volkswagen freak, I want to call, since I've been 12 years old. And I always said that I wanted to build strange cars and do everything I could do with a Volkswagen Beetle. And a lot of people laugh at me, what do you see in the Beetles? But I don't know. It's just something I love about them, and that was it, I
have a feeling this won't be your last car, Keith.
Yeah, probably not, Fred, Never say never, hey.
The music.
I think Fred Hutton's going to buy that car.
Well, let's get to our viewer photo of the day. Beautiful sunset, and Debbie guessed it during the commercial break that this was
lucky
taken
guess.
in Maraschine.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Lots of people heading back there for a big reunion this summer.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Judy says that she lives in Florida these days, but goes back there during the summer. So thank you very much for sending that in.
Yes, thank you indeed. Well, that does it for our regular Here and Now show.
Coming up in the next half hour, we'll be revisiting Navigating the North Coast, a 3-part special from April that followed Ryan Snowden. Remember him? He went to the big land, and it's quite the series. Stay tuned.
Welcome back once again, and as we mentioned, we're re-airing a 3-part Ryan Snowden special tonight.
Yeah, you might remember back in April, Ryan traveled with Air Borealis based in Goose Bay, and for them, flight plans all depend on local weather conditions. So here's part 1 of Navigating the North Coast.
just before sunrise in mid-February. It's -23 with a wind chill of -37. Most people are still in bed, but here, it's a hotbed of activity, prepping the planes for a busy day of flying, carrying people, patients, and cargo to remote locations along Labrador's north coast. But with the unpredictable weather, those plans can change in an instant.
We're seeing a lot more inclement weather that certainly brings flight interruptions.
It's more exciting, I think, than flying the bigger aircraft. It's more challenge.
I got thousands of stories.
The Labrador coast, you always got to expect the non-expected.
Air Borealis has 9 twin otters, the aircraft of Canada's north. Owned by 2 indigenous groups, the Innu and the Inuit, operated by PAL Airlines. The partnership is less than a year old. Its logo, an Inukshuk, green for the Northern Lights. Stones representing the communities it serves: Rigolette, Makovic, Postville, Hopedale, Notwashish, and Nain. Accessible only by plane for most of the year, with no road or even water access in the winter months, these communities are at the mercy of Mother Nature, each location with a different topography and weather. Every day, travel, food, medical supplies, and appointments, they all depend on these planes.
If you have rain, drizzle, and fog in St. John's or Corner Brook, you turn on your windshield wipers. Well, for somebody living in Nain or in Notwashish, that means that the flight is not coming today.
Navigating the north coast of Labrador is challenging at best. The weather, it can change in an hour, or it can hold stormy for days. The captains here at Air Borealis use forecasts issued by Nav Canada, Environment Canada, weather observations taken along the coast of Labrador, but most importantly, they use the decades of experience they have from flying up this very coastline. Neil Purchase has flown twin otters out of Happy Valley Goose Bay for the past 15 years.
We base a lot of stuff out of Halifax with our METAR and TAV and the GFA. We're also looking for the local knowledge of the strip operators, the agents that are on the coast. And after a number of years, most of these people got a pretty good grasp on the weather. First thing we check here in the morning is our weather and our operational flight plan. So we'll have a route picked out by our dispatcher, and then of course we got to get the weather that corresponds with that route.
In 31 years, Kevin Han has flown through it all.
There have been some good flights. There have been some not so good flights. Pretty well seen every weather condition that's up there. The winds are always blowing fairly hard. 30 knots is a calm day. This morning in Nain, it's 30 knots of wind and 32 below. So you get that kind of situation, and visibilities are down, and yeah, you gotta kind of watch what you're doing with the weather systems, and if the weather is marginal or no good, we just call the shot and we don't go.
In some cases, it's a race against time, like a recent medevac out of Rigolette.
We knew we had an hour to get there. A young baby got born, and it's not like your typical hospital setting. The lady came out, she was in the back of a comatig, the nurse was straddled across the comatig, and the baby was wrapped. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting place to work.
Everybody got back.
Everybody got out, safe and sound.
As the sun sets in beautiful, calm, Happy Valley Goose Bay, it's the winds in Nain, now gusting to 100 kilometers per hour, that have our attention, and our pending plans for the morning. We have a flight that was supposed to be going to Nain. The wind has really picked up, and so they've decided it's too windy, so they're going to go to Hopedale instead.
That's correct.
How often does this happen where they have to redirect?
Not a lot, but there is a percentage that comes into play where some days you're planning on a forecast that's built at 6 in the morning. Come 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the forecast didn't play out the way it was meant to.
Okay, so tomorrow morning, we're supposed to be going to Nain. What do you think our chances are for getting up there tomorrow, say mid to late morning?
Right now they're calling for a gust of 30 knots up on the northern part of the coast. You're sitting right between two low pressure systems, one moving in, one moving out, one dying. So right now the weather early in the tomorrow morning, the weather will cooperate. The winds, I'm not sure, and I don't know if it's going to be a large window. By lunchtime, we could have some snow moved into Nain and Hopedale.
Yeah, with that next low coming in.
That's right.
Yeah, so our window is short tomorrow for Nain.
And that it is.
Yeah. Okay, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Good luck.
Thank you.
Right on, see you guys.
Welcome back once again, and now to part 2 of our CBC series, Navigating the North Coast.
Back in April, Ryan Snowden traveled with Air Borealis and took a closer look at how goods make their way into and around the Big Land.
Day 2 in Labrador, mid-February. A snowy morning in Happy Valley Goose Bay. About 1.5 miles of visibility along the runway. But as we prep for our flight to Nain, it's the winds we're watching.
The winds can be very unpredictable in Nain, and they can get quite strong. Yesterday, the main winds went to 110 kilometers. And that can happen very quickly, and it can die out very quickly. The Labrador coast, you always got to expect the non-expected.
Can I just lay myself on? Yeah.
This twin otter is supposed to carry us to the most northern community on the coast. But more importantly, the food. With more snow and gusty winds on the menu for tonight and into tomorrow, this needs to get to Nain today.
We're always looking at least 2 days out when we see a weather system moving in. It's not uncommon for us to, basically call up the wholesalers and say, look, we're going to have bad weather on Tuesday or Thursday. Get the food in early. We'll get it moved early.
This food has an expiry date. It's traveled all the way from Montreal by ship to St. John's, by truck to Bay Roberts, before hitting the road across the island. Then from the Straits to here in Happy Valley Goose Bay, the last link in the supply chain before going up the coast.
So on Tuesdays and Thursdays is basically the big days for items going to the coast.
Tuesdays are primarily for moving milk and dairy and vegetables like carrots and turnip. Thursdays, produce like lettuce, broccoli, and spinach.
And then those are moved to the coastal communities late Thursday into Friday to be on the store shelves to be sold while people are picking up their groceries for the weekend.
These oranges, apples, eggs, and yogurt all bound for name, set to hit the shelves of the local grocery store later today. But food isn't the only cargo that heads north.
We can go back to an era when there was one flight every couple of days that would get in, and that plane would have a bag of mail or 2 bags of mail for each of the communities. In recent times, with the internet and the ability to do online shopping, which is really trendy around the world, but where really you don't have the same access to shopping centers to be able to go into a store, so people are doing the online shopping. Whatever an individual would do in downtown Toronto or Calgary or Vancouver in online shopping, it's happening in coastal Labrador. People are looking for the best deal.
Big ticket items like bikes and snowblowers, packages from online retailers Walmart, eBay, and Amazon, all shipped by plane. But just how much gets put onto an aircraft all depends on the weather. The Twin Otter is loaded, the forecast all clear for flying. Ready to go with our captain and first officer. A 1 hour and 15-minute flight to Nain. And we're lucky. The forecast calling for very light winds.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm excited. And especially because I've never been to the North Coast, so I'm excited.
Down the runway, in the air, into the clouds, and off to Nain.
Okay, we're about halfway through the flight. How are conditions looking?
Conditions are good. We got fairly smooth skies here. We're probably going to see some sunshine here very soon. The winds are 340 at 8 knots. We're looking at a temperature of minus 23 in Nain right now.
How will you decide how you're going to land the aircraft?
We always try to land into the wind. The wind right now, it's showing to be 90 degrees across the runway. So right now it could still be either runway.
Welcome back. Well, with changing weather and rugged topography, Labrador can be a challenge for pilots.
In this last part of Navigating the North, Ryan Snowden finds out what deliveries mean to people living in Nain.
A twin otter, roughly 8,000 feet above Nain. About to land on a gravel runway constructed in the early 1980s. At just 2,000 feet, it's the shortest runway on the Labrador coast and one of the most challenging for the pilots. Wedged between the ocean and a valley with two hills, potentially creating a tailwind at one end of the runway and a headwind at the other. We're not the only flight landing in Nain this morning. With the winds becoming light and current ideal landing conditions, and with some soon-to-be stormy weather on the way, the runway quickly becomes a busy spot, including a flight from Voisey's Bay and an RCMP supply plane. Most importantly, a Skedevac. That's the plane that carries people to scheduled medical appointments in Happy Valley Goose Bay. While these passengers board, the cargo from our flight is loaded into Comatics. Snowmobiles are the only way to get around. And the fastest and smoothest ride to the store is across the ice. From the plane, to the Comatic, to Big Land Groceries warehouse. Boxes of oranges, apples, yogurt, eggs. If the weather keeps a flight from landing, it keeps these necessities off the shelf. The longest recent stretch without Air Borealis landing in all 6 communities, 16 days.
We rely on it very, very much. I think the struggle that I have is with telling the customers that it's not here yet. And it's just a waiting process for it to come in. I usually stock up so I won't run out. I stock up on potatoes and carrots and turnip, and the more the hard produce.
It's not just a waiting game for food, it's being able to pay for it.
Are they mine?
Well, I just tried to buy a roast that was less than a kilo. 9.945 is $40. I put it back.
No, I didn't find it. I didn't find it.
I can't afford that. Usually we will get produce and that, but it'll be old and not as fresh as it used to be in past years, I don't think. Missed the caribou, that's for sure. A roast of caribou less than a kilo wouldn't cost $40. So really hard, and I feel really bad for young families who don't have good income. It must be very difficult to feed, like to buy yogurt and these kind of things that kids enjoy. It must be hard.
Arlene Akusik knows the struggles of providing for her young family in Nain. One of the most expensive items? Diapers. A pack of 132 can cost about $90 in a store. So she shops online for everything.
It's cheaper, but the shipping is still like $100. If I were to go home now and my son doesn't have diapers, then I wouldn't know what to do because it's not my payday yet. And I struggle through each pay week. So I just make it, and then if it don't come in, then I won't have no Pampers. I'll have to borrow or whatever. I'll bargain, try to find the cheapest I could find, and just anything my kids would need, I'll go to the internet and get whatever they need.
It's mid-afternoon and time to catch our flight. A short but sweet trip. We load our gear and head back to the plane. And back down the coast before any weather can slow us down. It's great to finally see Nain, to put a picture to the name on the weather maps. And it's clear that even though we didn't see any storms on this trip, weather is everything along the coast of Labrador.